I shut my door? I did. Hello. Hi. I am Spantopia Rosé, but you can call me Span. How are you? But how are you really? I'm personally not doing great. So, you know the idea of, oh god, this hair is so instant. I just have to fix this 1 second. Oh. Of like invisible illnesses. It looks bad, but it's off my face. Okay, start again. Hi. I hope that you are doing better than me. I have hurt my arm. It's a little bit of an invisible illness. I was having a lot of symptoms of like rage, anxiety, depression, autism, overwhelm, and I was like, okay, I'll do something to calm myself down, to center, you know, to get those emotions out. And so I went on the punching bag, and just excuse the background noises and the behind you noises, because there's a busy street there, and then my sister is cooking in the living room. I'm not even sure you can hear those sounds though, but I can. So anyway, I went on the punching bag and I thought, great, this will let out all of those demons and I'll feel better afterwards. But I just got angrier and angrier, and I have a mean left hook and I punched really, really hard, and basically now I have compounded knuckles. I went to a chiropractor. This was last Tuesday. I have compounded joints in my knuckles and my wrist, and soft tissue damage just all the way down. So I did this last Tuesday, and I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't think it was fractured or anything until it didn't start healing very well. So I went into my chiropractor, and he basically said, pushed and pulled and prodded and made me cry a lot. And he said he doesn't think it's a fracture, he doesn't think it's broken, he thinks it's just soft tissue damage. So basically I've sprained my wrist, my hand, and all of the tendons and muscles on both sides of my arm. So good work there, Span. So this made the anger and depression and anxiety worse. Didn't help. But I've also realized since then that I just gonna put this down. It's good to elevate it, but it hurts more when it's elevated. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I just also wanted to say that I think it might be a hormonal thing, and I'm so angry about that. So I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. I don't have any cysts, I've been scanned, but I do have other symptoms, and I'm diagnosed with that. So I've been trying lots of different pills, and I thought I'd finally found a pill that worked. It's called Yasmin, and I've been on it for like over 6 months, 9-10 months. Probably almost a year now. But what happened was I tried to skip my period last bleed because why not? It's supposed to be something you can do on the pill, and it went fine. But then it must have been 2 weeks after I skipped the period and just kept taking the meds, the pill, that everything in my life started to fall apart, and I couldn't cope and I couldn't deal, and everything was bad. And I didn't correlate this with that at all. That I thought that had been successful, and I was just like experiencing a lot of symptoms and just having a generally really bad time. So then today I got some breakthrough bleeding, some spotting, and I was like, oh, maybe the root of all of this is actually that hormone problem. So that really, have a lot of feels about that and I haven't processed it yet, so I don't know what those feelings are, but there are a lot and they are not positive. So I'm probably gonna go back to my doctor and be like, do I change pill again, or do I... It's also a very expensive pill. Like, I know that shouldn't have bearing, but it's like $90 a packet and I can't afford that, so I thought maybe it would be helpful, but it doesn't seem to be helping me. Anyway, girl chat. So one thing I've learned in the last week and a half since I've not fractured my arm, I wish I could say it was broken. Since I broke my arm, since I have sprained every muscle and soft tissue in my left hand, I have learnt that for soft tissue, or even bony, I don't know if it's bony, anyway, for soft tissue damage, like sprains and stuff, you're not actually supposed to heat them, you're supposed to cool them. So my chiropractor has said ice bath. So I have to plunge basically my entire arm into a iced water bucket, and that's a mental game, isn't it? Because I have a sports injury from doing boxer. Who am I? What is that? That's not me. Look, I've got a pimple here. I mean, you probably can't tell because it just looks like all the other freckles and weird age spots, but I've got a pimple, and this isn't a cold sore, it's just from biting my lip through anxiousness. I also don't have any nails anymore. Those last like 5 or 6 videos were actually pre-recorded from before I had my little extra mental breakdown, so hopefully we'll stay on track with filming, recording, uploading content on time. But if not, I apologize in advance. I think I'll be able to do it. It depends on the pain, I guess. The only, stop picking your lip. The only pain meds I'm on are paracetamol and ibuprofen together as one, and I can only take that every 8 hours. And before this, I was taking Voltaren every 8 hours, and I don't know, it hurts. I can barely move. It's not very swollen at the moment. It is a bit puffy, but it's not as bad as it has been. I've been told to keep it elevated. So also I went to my chiropractor and he was like, it's just soft tissue, and then I came out and I did the ice bath thing, and it made it like a lot worse. Like, it hurt so much and I could barely move, and also he'd been pushing and pulling it, so to test it, what bits were broken, and test my resistance and stuff. So I came home and it was hurting more than before I'd been to treatment, and I was like, well, my chiropractor is also a physiotherapist, by the way, so he's got both qualifications. He's got like a whole bunch of things up on his wall. I've been going to him for years. He's great, but I was like, I don't believe him. I wanted a second opinion, so because I was crying and having a panic attack as well, and just didn't know what to do, we decided we'd go to ER, right? And try and get an x-ray and be like, I think I've broken my arm, because isn't that what you're supposed to do? So we went to ER and it was really busy and really like medical drama-y. I'm sorry, this isn't very relaxing for ASMR, but this is where we're sharing. Feel free to tell me all of your things that are happening in your life that you need to tell somebody about. I'm here for you, and you get to be here for me. So, medical dramas, I can't stand medical dramas, right? I don't like any sort of injury, I don't like illness, it makes me very uncomfortable. And also hospitals have really bright lights and lots of noises, and then there was a crying child, and I was just having a really bad sensory overload time because I was already like crying when we got there, so it wasn't great. So we stayed there for about half an hour probably. We went through all the questions, we checked in, we found a place to sit right up the back away from everyone. There was a guy there who had like poked out his eye, like there was just cuts and blood all over his eye. Sorry, just trigger warnings. I might try and edit that out if I can. I don't know how to edit this on my phone. We'll see. Also, I'm on my phone because I'm in Canberra, because that's where my chiropractor is, and I'm with my sister for the week, and I'm going to go to the movies on Friday, so I decided I can't drive, so instead of hassle people for lifts in and out, I would just stay in. Yeah. So I'm in the city, which is hence the weird background and lo-fi video. But yes, the thing that I learnt is no heat. So I've been, since Tuesday before I went to any healthcare professionals, I've been heating it. And apparently that's one of the worst things you can do for things that are swelling, which is like the opposite of what my mind thought. But it's always like, what is it, rest, ice, circulation, elevation. So stop using it. So rest, ice, put ice on it, circulation, wrap it up in a bandage, make sure it's still got blood flow, that sort of thing. And elevation is put it up, which I knew. But for some reason I was hating it. I was like, oh, it feels really good when I heat it, but apparently that brings out the swelling. So I don't know how health things work, but I got in trouble from 2 different health professionals because after I was at the ER, I couldn't stand to be there, and Sarah was like, we'll find somewhere else, we'll go somewhere else. And she was really helpful, and she got us into a nurse's walk-in patients thing. So I went to see a nurse who also double confirmed. It was about another half-hour wait or something there, but it was nowhere near as bad. There's only like 3 people in the room, and none of them looked severely injured. And the lady behind reception was like really, really nice, like overly nice, and I think that made a big difference. The nurse herself was a bit brusque and made me feel like an idiot, but she seemed to know what she was talking about. So, but yeah, so from 2 medical professionals, both said that it was just soft tissue damage, that I just hit too hard and jarred all of my arm, just like I basically sprained my entire forearm and hand, and that it will take just as long as a bone injury to heal. And she gave me this tube bandage, right? So you stick your thumb through there and then it just goes over your arm. But it's all the same length, like width, right? Like it's all the same. It doesn't get wider at the elbow, so I wore that all day yesterday this was just yesterday, by the way, so I wore that in the afternoon and in the night, and it left me a big red mark here and a really, really sore bit here. Sorry, there, you can still see that red mark. So I've decided not to be using that, even though that's what the medical professional told me, but I'm going to be using my own bandage instead, which is what I was using before that. I'll just roll it up now. Yeah, so regular scheduled content will not be available for a while because I don't have anything pre-recorded. And I only have one arm because that one's not really available for use, and they said that it might take like up to 6 weeks to heal, even though it's not fractured. That soft tissue damage sometimes even takes longer to heal than the like bony breaks and stuff. So that's fun. I don't know. I mean, it's really, really painful, and I thought that especially when I like accidentally like grip and pull something, like trying to wash my hair in the shower, I'm not even gonna try anymore because even one-handed I end up straining my left hand somehow. I almost wish it was my right hand, so I would just learn to not use it at all. Because it's my left hand, I just am like I would just not do anything if it was my right hand. But because I keep trying to do things with my right hand, my left hand tries to help my right hand and it hurts itself. That's the struggle right now. It's a bit of a struggle. Are you struggling? It's really good that I'm in Canberra because we don't have any COVID cases here at the moment. So, I mean, I'm still wearing my mask and stuff, but it's not actually required, like, you don't have to wear masks. But of course, because I was going to medical places, of course I wore masks, like, yeah. Also, I don't have my vaccine shot yet. I need to go make an appointment with my doctor. When I'll do that, I'll go make an appointment with my doctor in Cooma, and we will talk about what I should do with my whole hormonal pill situation. And I'll ask for a vaccine referral because I can't book in by myself. I think I need a doctor's appointment. I don't know. I tried. There's like options to click through, but because I don't have an ACT residential address, I can't do it in the ACT, and in the New South Wales area where I am in Cooma, I am not of the right age, even though they say they're giving it to everyone over 18, what they're actually doing is booking you in by age group still. So they're still in the over 60s group, so my parents have got it, but I haven't. I even tried like saying I was disabled and stuff because of autism and all of my invisible illnesses, and it still wouldn't let me. So I'll go talk to my doctor about that too. So yeah, self-care, guys, self-care. Don't go too hard in your self-care because it might lead to more pain. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to strap it. You might be able to watch, I don't know if this is helpful to anyone, strapping your own hand one-handed. You want it so that you can go up over your thumb. You don't want to go down over your thumb, you want to go up over your thumb. So you want to go up your arm. So you go, start about midway. Not too loose, so you just use this hand on there and pull up. There we go. I like to go all the way up once, about halfway over each one. See, it hurts in my wrist here. And then kind of go over your thumb like that, and then down. Another thing was when I was using my punching bag, I was in fact, so what I'm doing here is going down and then crisscrossing back up over. I don't know if you can see that, or if that's even the right way to do this, but that's how I did it in boxing. So yeah, what I was going to say was that I was actually, and then I just tuck it in, because I don't have one of those fancy clasp things. This is a bandage I've had forever. It's lost its fancy clasp, but yeah, I could probably have done that all the way up to the elbow because it's really painful in here and the attachment there too. So I'll just put that down. I was also supposed to put cream on first. Maybe I'll undo it and put cream back on as well. This is how we roll. Yeah, so the cream has an anti-inflammatory component in it, difluprednate. It's called Voltaren gel anyway, and it's mostly for, oh my arm's getting so tired, sports injuries and stuff. But yeah, just life's crazy. How are you? Let me know in the comments how's your mental state going, because you know sometimes it's hard. Also, how badly did that video age? There is nothing wrong with, like, actually there is something wrong with me. I've strained my entire arm. Like, yeah, but that's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. Like, yeah, okay. Also, I go back to my therapist in a week, just before I have to go back to my chiropractor. So my chiropractor was like, get the swelling down, let it heal, come back and see me in 2 weeks. So on the Wednesday before I go back to the chiropractor, I have to go back to my therapist, and I'm angry with my therapist. I'm angry with everyone. I don't know. I'll see if I can go to my doctor before then. But my therapist does want to refer me for ADHD, well, ADD, which I don't think I have a hyperactivity, but I do, I guess, from the anxiety, like unable to, like the fidgetingness. But anyway, it is annoying that I couldn't get the two things at the same time, the two diagnoses. So I get cream all over my arm, and then I'm just gonna rub it in. Sticky. Oof, you just can't do that to these tendons in here. They're really quite sore. I'm not pressing very hard either, and it's really tender. I'm gonna have to rest for like the whole day after just making this video. But yeah, I'm staying in town a week due to circumstances, and that means the videos will be quite lo-fi, quite I don't know, whatever this is, casual, I guess. I've had to be wearing like short sleeves and stuff because I can't get my arm into sleeves. It's very uncomfortable. So I've been wearing this poncho for months. I've also been wearing the same type of leggings. I bought these new leggings and they actually stay up and they're kind of easy to pull up, like unlike jeans, which you have to like try really hard to pull up and then they feel like they're falling down, so you pull them up again. But that pulling up action kills my arm, and my left hand always does it. It always does it. So I've been wearing the exact same Christmas flavored leggings. Let's see if I can just see snowflakes. Delicious. Look at me, I'm very black and white. But yeah, they're to everything. Doctor's appointments, everything. So we wanted to go up. So we'll start back a bit. Back over where it hurts. And just wrap. Oh, it's like a medical role play, except not role playing. And I'm not a medical person. I'm so sick of medical and health and looking after myself. I'm really sick of it. I don't want to have to do any more self-care. I wish to ignore that I even exist. But no, I break my arm, don't I? So yeah, let's go up over there, down, back, and then, ooh. There we go. But yeah, my arm was wrapped and also in a punching like mitt, like boxing gloves. I had boxing gloves on. I was well protected and I still managed to completely shatter all of the muscles from fingertip right down to elbow tip. Just even that hurts. Crazy, 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 crazy. I also am not wearing my glasses because I already feel really bad, and the sensation of having the glasses on my face is really irritating today, so I'd just rather be blind. It's the lesser trauma. A rock in a hard place. Would you rather be blind or have something on your face? Also, the oversensitivity of things touching my face is why I have to have my hair off my face all the time, and also why I don't wear any makeup. Okay. I feel like that's enough of a. Is this an overshare? Doesn't even feel like an overshare. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing much better than me. And I'll see you again in the not too distant future. Hopefully. Alright. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Sleep.